Gosh, I'm so excited. You bring in Instagram. All right, all right. Okay, I was thinking I would do this live in a couple days, but I just can't wait any longer to let you know I've done it. It's happening. There's a podcast wherever you listen to podcasts called She Just Glows, the podcast. And I'm so excited. The first episode is brand new this week. And I thought it wasn't going to be ready until Wednesday, but it was ready over the weekend. So I was just freaking out at the knowledge that what I want to share with you this week is already out there. So if you listen on Apple, go to Apple. If you listen on Spotify, go there. It's also on a bunch of the other different players that are out there. And episode 1 is all about that resistance that we feel to wanting to try something, wanting to have a tough conversation, wanting to start a business, wanting to have another kid, whatever the thing is in your life. And if you have issues even knowing what that thing is for you, I get it. And that's what I help clients with every day. But once we decide what that thing is, what that goal is, or what that life-changing event needs to be, now what? What do we do? How do we get started? We have this really crazy habit of wanting to wait until everything in life is in alignment before we get started on that thing that's really important to us and that is going to spark joy in our life and reignite our passions or bring our life in a direction toward thriving. But we just wait and we sit because we're scared. And so the podcast episode 1, goes into all the different reasons that we're scared to just get started. And I go through 5 surefire ways to just do it, just get started. So the title of episode 1 is Stop Waiting for Everything to Align, Just Get Started. And I'm super excited about it. I've gotten really great feedback on it so far. And I just wanted to explain a little bit about why I decided to do this. I've been in this space for about 8 years now. I started She Just Glows in 2014, really because my kids took like 4-hour naps and I got bored. And I came from a background of TV news and I love writing. And so I was like, hey, I'm going to start a website called She Just Glows. And I'm going to offer encouraging, inspiring, and most importantly, real and raw writings to women reading. And I've done that for several years. Created quite a following. And that sounded really like I'm bragging or something, but really a lot of you guys have been here for a long time. And so I'm so grateful for you. And then in the last few months, I said, let's level this up. Let's do one-on-one coaching. I mean, what I do through my writings for the last 8 years is basically coaching. It's just through a post. And so now I coach moms out there who need help getting unstuck in their life. I call myself a joy coach, and this can take all different forms. It can be wanting to reevaluate your relationship with alcohol. It can be working on things in your marriage. It can be working on different relationships. It can be working through a divorce or an affair. All kinds of things that we talk about, really, whatever you want to if you sign up as a client with me. And if you want more information about that, you can go to shejustglows.com. But once all of this started ruminating, and it's been such an amazing 4.5 months since I started life coaching and joy coaching, that it just fed into doing a podcast. I mean, you guys know I talk here all the time. I've been doing this for years. So I decided to make that content available to you in a place that you are. And I know a lot of you guys listen to podcasts. I'd love to know what you love about your favorite podcasts and why you listen to them. So what I bring to She Just Glows, the podcast, is 30 to 45 minutes of a very applicable approach to something that everyone goes through. It's really for women today. It's really for middle-aged moms today, but you don't have to be a mom to listen. So many of us go through very similar journeys, but we don't hear about each other's journeys because sometimes when you're going through something hard, it's not like you're going to talk about it with like acquaintances. So as a life coach, I hear in these one-on-one conversations about the struggles in your life. And I relate to the struggles in your life because I'm a middle-aged mom in our world today. And that's the place I come from in my life coaching, in fact, is being in the trenches with you. I'm not an expert. I'm not anything. I don't know anything about anything, but I do have a lot of experience at a lot of the things that you're facing today. And if nothing else, you know that number one, you will get out of it and we'll come up with a plan to ensure that. And number two, you're not alone. You know, I've been through this. Many other women have been through this. So I'm so excited. I would love if you want to follow. I know everyone listens to podcasts different places, but what I will promise you is that each week a new episode will drop on Wednesday. Of course, this one's early. It's only Monday, but I was like, I'm not going to wait till Wednesday to do a live about it. I got to tell you about it now. It's live now, you know? The podcast waits for no one, right? No, anyway, I'm so excited for you guys to listen to it. What I really focus on is, first of all, sharing information that you won't find anywhere else. Sharing information that is from the core of my teaching sessions with clients about issues that you might not talk to your friends at Carline about, but you do talk to with your therapist or with your life coach. And if you don't have a life coach, I'd love to be that space for you. You know, the things that are shared in our sessions are obviously totally confidential, but it's very interesting how so many of our struggles mirror what others struggle with in different ways. Something a lot of us struggle with is people pleasing, being in a culture where you really just want to fit in. Maybe that's because of your past or your childhood. And how to reconcile a desire to fit in with a desire to do something really big and bold that you feel called to do, but you just don't know where to start. So this whole episode 1 is called Stop Waiting for Everything to Align and Just Get Started. And I share like 5 ways to just get started, which is another thing I will promise you about every episode. I'm going to share news you can use, things that you can apply, not tomorrow, not when your schedule is perfect, but right now, today, as you're listening to the podcast, you can apply these tools and different facets to your life. Make sense? So I want to share one of the things that is a great way to just get started on the thing that you want to do. And if you want to hear this whole episode, you can go to She Just Glows, the podcast, wherever you listen to podcasts. It's my first episode. I'm so excited. This is my launch week, I guess you call it. So one of the best ways to just get started, and I want to give you a little bit of a snippet of what is in the full episode. I think it's like 44 minutes. One of the best ways to just get started is remember that you are incredibly adaptable and that whatever it is that you are seeking to do, whether it's a goal or a new experience or reaching out to a new friend group, whatever it is, you will figure it out as you go. You know, we have this desire to want to wait, as the title of the episode implies, until everything's in alignment. We want to wait until all of our ducks are in a row, everything is good to go, the schedule's good, the kids are taken care of, everything is totally handled. And then we'll try to write that book or whatever the goal is, right? So, of course, what ends up happening is we just wait forever. You know, I'll do it when I'm ready. You're never going to be totally ready unless you adjust how you think about what it means to totally be ready. So here's an idea for you. What if instead of, let's use the example of time. What if instead of believing that you need to have 10 extra hours a week to start that business, here's a crazy idea, because that 10 hours is never going to pop out of nowhere, right? You've waited already for so long to do this thing because you've been waiting on this other thing to be perfectly lined up. In this example, it'd be the extra 10 hours a week, right? So in the meantime, you're just doing nothing, right? Waiting for things to magically change so you can finally go after what you want to go after. What if you tweaked that just a little bit and realized that, yes, you may need an extra 10 hours a week, but you are extremely adaptable and you are able to flex in new situations. So look back to like when your kids were little. You know, you're out at the park or you're at the mall and like one of them has a blowout in the diaper. You know, classic story, you don't have a diaper. What do? Like whatever happened, you figured it out, you know? Let's say I use this example in the episode. Oh my gosh, I'm just like tripping over my words today. I'm just like so excited, I think. Geez, Janie, calm down. One of the other examples that I use in the episode is, you show up to the pool and you didn't realize that everyone's actually going swimming. So you have to take off your cover up and you weren't planning on that. You haven't shaved. You've got your cottage cheese thighs. Like you're just like not mentally prepared to go swimming. But you know what? You figured it out. At everything that's come at you in your life, you've figured it out. You've faced challenges. You've faced obstacles. You've faced things where you said, I don't think anyone else in this situation would be able to do what I'm doing right now. And you figured it out. So when it comes to wanting to do that next big thing, what if instead of waiting until everything was in alignment, there I go, tripping on my words again. I'm just too excited. Podcast launch week. I'm so excited. What if instead of waiting for everything to be in alignment, what if you just said, whatever comes at me, I will be able to adapt and figure it out, right? Something that is not in the podcast actually, but I've been reading about that I want to share that really relates to this point is in our history of humankind. I'm reading this anthropology book. It's in the other room right now, or I'd show you, but it's all about ancient humans. I mean, like prehistoric humans and the history of humankind. And something so interesting that's pointed out in this book is that humans, the Homo sapien, actually extincted many of the large mammals that existed that we don't even know about today. One of them was an elephant bird that was like as big as an elephant, but a bird, but the bird didn't fly. Another was like an 8-ton giant sloth. Crazy stuff, right? You're like, what? So all these crazy prehistoric mammals that Homo sapiens hunted and effectively extincted with nothing more than stone tools. They had no wheel. They had no writing. They had nothing like that. They just had stone tools. It's crazy. So that just shows how adaptable humankind is. They came to a new continent, seeing these crazy, huge mammals that they'd never seen before. With just their stone tools, they killed them. They ate them, whatever they did. I don't know if it's really clear what all they did with the giant sloth, but I'm assuming they ate it in some way. The point is, and I know I'm getting a little off track here, but I just love this anthropological stuff that I'm learning about. Humans are, by nature, adaptable. That is part of why we have survived. So go into this new challenge and this new chapter in total acknowledgement of your own power to make it happen. Not just because you know you're adaptable, but draw on your history. When you've been in difficult times before, you've figured it out. When you've been in challenges, you've figured it out. You always figure it out. So when you start this new thing, even if you don't have every ingredient in the list that you think you need to make the chili, which is an analogy I use a lot, you guys might have heard me mention, you're still going to make something that people are going to eat, right? So I was making chili the other day, and the star ingredient of chili is what? Cumin, right? It seems like every time I go to make chili, I'm out of cumin, which is like the worst thing ever because the whole chili taste is the cumin, right? It's like the star of the show. So I'm like, what am I supposed to do here? Well, the meat was already browning. I was going to be making something, and I didn't have the exact ingredients that I needed, but guess what? I figured it out. I threw a few other spices in. My family still ate it. End of story. Just make the chili. You're not going to have all of the ingredients perfectly all the time. And if you're waiting to do that huge, big, amazing thing that you want to do, or that difficult thing that you know needs to happen, and you're just waiting and waiting because you don't have the cumin, and now the turkey went bad, and you got to buy the more turkey, like all your ingredients just aren't lining up. They never will. They never will. If you're waiting for everything to be in alignment before you get started, you'll be waiting forever. And I don't know, something about turning 40. I'm like, I ain't got no more time, man. You feel me? I don't have extra time to wait anymore. I'm going to just do it. So that's what I said with starting this podcast. I don't know how to do this perfectly. It's not even technically my podcast launch day yet. It's supposed to be in 2 days. I'm just going to do it now. I'm ready to go now. Let's just do this, right? If I waited for everything to line up perfectly, it would happen much more slowly, or it would never happen. And I'm just not willing to wait anymore. So I would love if you guys would follow, listen, whatever you do on the podcast. I don't even know. Listen, I'm not a big podcast consumer. It's never that quiet around me to listen to podcasts, but I know a lot of you guys do. And so I wanted to meet you where you're at, and I'm honored to be sharing in another way with you. So I definitely, on these podcast episodes, on these lives, I don't really think through much of what I'm saying, but the podcast episode has a lot of meat in it. I sit and go through notes, and I research, and I do everything to bring usable today information, usable today, this minute, to help you build a life that is marked by purpose and joy. That is what I do with all of my clients. Everyone wants purpose in their life. And if you're feeling like everything looks great from the outside, but it just doesn't feel good on the inside, that's often because you don't have a true sense of purpose right now. And that is so common in mothering because your purpose has been changing diapers, making dinner, doing all of these menial tasks really that come with motherhood, right? Along with shaping characters and, building humans and all of those important things too. But it can be very mentally boring. And we lose our sense of, why am I here? What am I doing here? It's hard to see the bigger perspective when there are so many needs and demands on us every single day. And you find yourself waking up in the morning and thinking, no one could do what is expected of me today. No one would be able to swing this schedule with my kids and my life. And it's not about feeling sorry for yourself. It's just factual. No one would be able to do it except you. And that's exactly why you're there, because you were made for this and you are capable. So regaining that feeling of purpose in our lives is such a game changer. That happens by having the boldness to go after the things that we want to do, but we've been holding back on for all of the reasons I just mentioned: the kids, the food, the cooking, all of the tasks that come along with the phase of life that you're in right now, right? Through that too, we lose a sense of joy. What does bring me joy? What do I even like to do? My husband asked me a few years ago, well, what's your hobbies? What are your passions? I'm like, I literally don't know. And if you would answer that question in the same way, I've got you. I see you and I understand that. It's not impossible to find your joy and passion again. You still have it. It's just been covered up by layers of mortgage payments, caring for parents, caring for pets, your kids, your marriage, all the things happening in the world today. That's a whole other episode. But your passions have just been covered up by all of the complexities in your life right now, but they haven't gone anywhere. You still have them. You just need to rediscover them. So I did a thing. I started a podcast. It's freaking up right now. It's up for the world to see, and I'm so excited. So anywhere that you can listen to podcasts, check it out. The episode that's up right now is, I got to tell you, I don't compliment myself much. It's pretty damn good. I listened to it over the weekend. I was like, damn, this is so good. It gave me the chills, and I hope it does for you too. Because building a life of purpose and joy can start with very simple today tools and knowledge that you will learn in this episode, and that will hopefully help get you back on the path toward a thriving life. I would love if you check it out and let me know what you think, good and bad. I would love your feedback. This podcast is literally for you. it's not for anyone else. I didn't make it trying to find new people to bring to the podcast. The podcast, if you are watching this, I made it for you so that you can have extra encouragement and extra, stuff to help you get pushed forward into living the life that you were designed to live and that you're capable of living. All right. Thanks for being here, guys. Comment below.